Hello everyone, welcome to tonight's YouTube Live. I'm Lisa Curcio. Welcome to Lisa's Stamp Studio. The weather has really played a factor tonight. I live in Central Florida. Many of you have sent emails asking how we are. We are totally fine. We are not near the water. We live between Tampa and Orlando, so we're far enough away that we didn't have any effects from Hurricane Michael. But we have quite a few stamping friends that are, and we are sending out our prayers and well wishes for them. Tonight we have my virtual assistant, Megan, here. Megan is in Virginia, and Megan may be affected by the weather, so she may or may not be here with us. I'm going to reach over really quick, guys, and just refresh my iPad, so I'm going to be able to see your comments. I want to make sure that I have that going in case Megan has to leave. Megan's job is to help me by interacting with you, especially when I get down to the stamp table, because it's difficult for me to stamp and give instruction and read your comments at the same time. While you're here for the live, please leave your comments. We'll do our very best to interact with you. Hello, Christine, glad you joined us. If you're here watching the replay, leave your comments below under the normal comment section, and I'll make sure that I get back to you if you have questions. I am super excited about tonight's project. I have a beautiful Christmas card for you, and it is nothing more, are you ready, than one sheet of paper. It's not very often that you'll see me create a card that doesn't have a lot of layers, and this one does not. But it's going to look like it by the time that we're done. It's going to have a lot of depth to it. So just as a reminder, if you're here and you want to chat during the live, it's real important that you sign into YouTube so that you can enable the live chat. And I'm glad that you guys have joined us. All right, let's turn the camera down to the stamp table and let's get started. Give me just a second to zoom you guys in and get you as close as I can so you have a nice view. I think that's going to be good. That's going to be important tonight. I want you to be able to see the details of what we're going to do here. I am going to fold the cardstock in half. This card is going to be on my blog tomorrow along with the replay of this video. Of course, you can come back here to YouTube and watch it. I'll make sure that I put the link down in the description of this video below so that those of you visiting from YouTube can get over to the pictures and cutting dimensions, this one cutting dimension, for tonight's card. And just so that you know, this is 4 1/4 by 11. I scored it in half just before the video, and all I did was use my bone folder for that nice crisp crease on this card. Now, we are going to do something a little different, and I'm going to tell you that I've made this card numerous times, and I've learned lots of lessons along the way, and I'm going to share those with you, what I feel are really good tips. Now, my original card that you'll see the picture of tomorrow, I used these 3 by 3 Post-it notes. And I had a dickens of a time making sure they were lined up because look, this is 4 1/4. So you know what? I decided to ditch those and I splurged and I went on to Amazon and I bought these. These are 4 by 6 and they have made a world of difference. And that's what I'm going to use tonight while we're doing the live so that you can see the easiest way to do this. I always try to make it the easiest for you. I'm going to go ahead and peel off one of these. I love using my grid paper because these little lines, especially for this card, are going to be a saving grace. So the most important thing I can tell you is to make sure that you have it lined up on your grid paper. And I'm going to keep my head down so I can get as close to this as I can. You're going to leave a little bit of space at the bottom. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a masked area. So I'm going to start by masking off the bottom section here. And I've got the top of the Post-it note that's sticky here on the grid paper going across my card. And again, I'm making sure that it's as straight as possible. And then I'm going to take another one and I am going to connect this, but I want to make sure, I'm going to get my head way down in here and try not to get it in the camera, that I'm not missing a spot. Like I see it, there's a little tiny skip there. So you want to make sure that this is straight as you possibly can. It's really kind of forgiving when it's done, but just kind of mask off an area. The next thing I'm going to do is mask off another section here in the center. So I'm going to mask off the top. Now I learned when I practiced this that these are 1/4 inch squares here on the grid paper. And I know you need 8 of them. So you need at least 2 inches for what I'm going to do tonight. So we're going to count 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to work just above that. And I'm going to put down another Post-it note. Again, I'm using the grid paper as a guide, and I'm working my way across. And I'm going to do the same thing, just like we did on the bottom now. And I'm going to line this up the very best that I can. I'm going to get my head down here to see if it's even. It looks pretty even. And there we go. We've got, that is the hardest part of this whole card, I promise. All right, now that everything's masked and everything is tacked down to your work surface, you are good to go. We're going to do our stamping. Here comes the fun part. We are going to use Balmy Blue ink. And I'm going to open this up and I'm going to bring in my foam brayer. And so for those of you that don't know what this pops on and off. There's a little, just kind of pull it off. You get several of the sponges when you buy it. You can rinse it out in the sink with mild soap detergent and then let it air dry. It will stain because of the pigmentation, but then once it's clean, you can use it in other colors, which is really a fabulous thing as far as I'm concerned, because you don't have to buy a whole bunch of these. I am going to ink up the foam brayer and I'm going to cover this area with this color. Now, it's real important that when you do this, you're inking it all the way around. You don't want to just do this because obviously you're going to get ink just right here. So you want to ink it all the way around. So kind of like a rolling pin, I'm going all the way around, inking it up. And this is a fairly light color. And I'm going to work inside this area. And you're going to see that I'm rolling it back and forth and back and forth. And I'm pulling both forwards and backwards. It really doesn't matter. Now I want a little bit more color on there. So I'm going to load my brayer again. And then I am going to roll back over this. And again, you can do this as often as you'd like. So you can go over this over and over again. But for me, I think that's probably pretty good. You know what? I lied. Let's go ahead and give this a little bit more here at the bottom. All right, I'm going to set that aside. And like I said, you can wash that with soap and water. We're not going to need this color anymore, so I'm going to put that one aside. And the next one I'm going to bring in is Blueberry Bushel. Now, make sure you hang with me to the end because I have other samples to share with you. Blueberry Bushel is a really pretty, I like to call it like a denim blue. It's probably a little bit darker than that, but the Blueberry Bushel is one of the new in colors. Now, I have a sponge dauber dedicated to every single one of my ink pad colors, and I want to share this with you because it just happens to be right here. I got this handy dandy little dauber case on Amazon. It's not a Stampin' Up! Product, but the daubers fit inside here perfectly. And of course, I labeled them and I put them in alphabetical order. The great thing is I'm able to use the same dauber over and over again. I don't have the link. Someone asked for me about this a couple days ago and I don't have it. But I'm sure if you go onto Amazon and you look for Sponge Dauber case, that you'll be able to find that. And I use that faithfully. I think that holds about 60, and I needed a little bit extra room, so I have a second one that I've dedicated for the overflow. The great thing about a sponge dauber is you can put your finger up inside the middle so that you can hold it. It makes it really easy to use. I'm going to go ahead and ink it up. Now this is a fairly strong color. What you don't want to do is you don't want to do this, because if you do, guess what you're going to get? You're going to get polka dots, and that's really not what we're after. However, this is pretty forgiving. I'm tapping off a little bit of ink because I want to be able to control the coverage. I don't want it to come out too dark in some areas and not dark in another. I want to be able to determine that. So with a light hand, I'm swirling, and you're going to see that I'm going to cover about 2/3 of this. Now, I'm going to actually do the whole thing while you're watching me because I want you to see how easy it is. Oftentimes when people see it done in steps and they see a completed card, they're like, oh, I can't do that. And I'm like, yes, you can, because there's nothing difficult about this. Do you see how I'm using small circular motions? And I'm not really particular on making this even. That's another thing. I have created a lot of these, and if you didn't miss me saying this in the beginning, you're just joining us, no two of these have looked alike. So you can make it darker at the top, a little bit lighter at the bottom. We just want a little bit of gradient color. Again, we don't want those polka dots, so I'm doing the swirl. And I'm just working in a circular motion to cover that area. I'm going to work a little bit darker here in the middle. Isn't this pretty? And again, it's foolproof. And the great thing about this is you can line a whole bunch of them up and you could do a whole bunch of these at one time. This is a real therapeutic type of card. That's what I really like about it. The other thing is if you get some round spots like I just got there because I'm chatting and sponge daubering at the same time, don't worry about it. It's going to be really forgiving when we're done. So I'm just going to drag this down just a little bit because I want to make sure that it's kind of blended. All right, that looks pretty good. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to close this up and I am going to switch over to Night of Navy. That's a little bit darker yet. And we're going to do the exact same thing, but we're going to concentrate in a different area. So I'm going to go ahead and ink that up. And I'm going to tap off because I want to make sure I can control that again. And this time I'm working in the upper third to provide some coverage there. One of the things you need to know about this is we're laying a lot of ink down. So that paper is going to be wet. You want to make sure that you're not working too quickly. I have the ceiling fan on here in the stamp studio, so that's helping the paper to dry really, really quickly. By daubering off some of the ink, you're actually reducing some of that shade just to make it a little bit more controllable, and it's not soaking wet. If your ink pads are new and they're really, really wet, you're going to want to take your time because what you're looking to do is you're looking to get areas of dark and light. So we're looking for some shades here. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. All right, then we'll go ahead and close up the Night of Navy as well, and I'll set that dauber off to the side. Again, lots of ink has been laid here, and the paper is going to be wet, so you may need to set this aside and wait before we do the next step. I'm going to be using Memento ink, it's a black ink, to do the next part of the stamping on this card. We're going to be using the Dashing Deer stamp set. You know, very nostalgic Christmas. I've had people who tell me they absolutely love the filigree image on this stamp. It is gorgeous. Wait till I show you the other cards I made with it. But we're actually going to use these smaller images tonight, which a lot of folks haven't shown much interest in, but I'm loving them. But we're going to pair it with another stamp set, and it's called Winter Woods, and we're going to use this beautiful evergreen tree. So I'm going to start by opening up my Memento ink pad, and I'm grabbing my Christmas tree image, and I'm going to ink it face up. Whenever your stamp is about the same size as your ink pad, it's easier to do it face up on your work surface than trying to do it the other way because usually the stamp is very, very large. We're not going to need the whole thing because you can see this is a pretty good size stamp. I'm going to go ahead and ink that up, and I am going to stamp that in the area that we've masked. So I'm going to go ahead and add that here. Lots of firm, even pressure. This is a large image, and you want to get those beautiful pine boughs, all that detail out. Now, when I lift this, you're going to see that there is a skip area here at the bottom, and that is because there is a very, very slight elevation difference between the Post-it note and the cardstock, and that is okay. It's going to be real forgiving when we're done. I'm going to head that over to my chamois that's just off camera. I'm going to work next with the dough, which is this image here, also part of that same stamp set. Watch me put my fingers in the ink. I had a fight today with the Melon Mambo ink pad. I won. So if you're wondering if that's blood, it's not. It's just ink. I was busy stamping today, making more videos for you. I'm going to ink it up. I always like to look and make sure I don't have ink around the circumference of my stamp because otherwise that could obviously show. Important too, you want to make sure that your ink is not too wet and not too dry. I'm going to stamp lots of firm, even pressure. You can see that I stamped her a little bit further up, and I'm looking at this going, oh, Lisa, I hope you left enough room for your buck. Oh, I think it's just going to fit. I got lucky. I probably should have moved that over just a smidgen. So I'm going to ink up the stag or the buck, and same thing. I want to make sure I've got good coverage. Yep, looks really, really good. And I'm going to stamp him a little bit closer to the foreground. Lots of firm, even pressure as well, and then a lift. Oh, you think it looks good now. Wait until I take the mask off. You're going to absolutely love this. So I'm going to go ahead and cover that up because an open ink pad around here is always dangerous. While it's masked, I'm going to do this next step. I don't know how many of you may have this or not, but this is kind of a well-kept secret in the Stampin' Up! Catalog. This is the Stampin' Chalk marker. Now, if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you're interested in Stampin' Up! Products, I would be more than happy to send you a complimentary copy of the annual catalog. And right now, we also have the holiday catalog. I can send you one or the other or both. Just leave me a comment below and we'll get a hold of you. The Stampin' Chalk marker is literally like a chalk marker, so it's not going to look like a white gel pen, so it's a lot lighter. When you get it, it has a slightly chiseled tip. I like to store mine upside down so that the ink stays closer to the barrel. I've got a scrap piece here of black cardstock, and I just want to make sure I get it started. It doesn't leave perfect circles either, and that's totally fine. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to work very lightly without smashing the tip of my marker. I want to make sure you're not too zealous on this. So if you've had a bad day, this might not be a good project for you. And I'm just dotting the skyline on this card. And I'm going to work a little bit down here at the bottom. I'm going to avoid my deers. That's just a Lisa thing. You can certainly fill it in if you'd like. And there's no rhyme or reason because, you know, snowfall doesn't fall evenly, that's for sure. All right, so this will go back into my pencil holder, and I'll straighten that upside down so the ink will stay, of course, at the top of the pen. Now here we go. Here comes the bottom. Here comes that one mask. Here comes the other. And let's do the top. Remember, take your time in case that ink is still wet, especially if your ink pads are fairly wet. All right, it's pretty close to good. Look at that. Let's add a greeting to that. And I'm going to use the Memento ink. And I've pulled out the words Happiest Christmas Wishes. And that's also part of the Dashing Deer stamp set. Everything I've used is all from the stamp set with the exception of that Christmas tree. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ink that up as well. Again, I'm going to check to make sure I don't have it all around the outside of my card. And then right down here, firm, even pressure, and then a lift. Oh my gosh, isn't this pretty? All right, let me set that stamp off to the side, cover that because that's dangerous open on my stamp table. But look at not one single layer, not one dimensional, not one embellishment, nothing. This is ink and a basic black ink pad. And if you want to add that chalk marker, this is what you get. Isn't this gorgeous? Oh, I'll tell you what, I think I've made 7 or 8 of these already because I find it addicting. Once you've got your ink pads out and you've got your things all masked, you can just breeze through these and make a bunch of these cards. Now, I promised you more samples using the Dashing Deer stamp set, and I want to share those with you. They are actually here. Let me just pull them out of my little envelope. I have them here. And here we go. Here is the first one. These cards are all part of my Stamps in the Mail card making kit. Now, I'm going to be changing the name of Stamps in the Mail because, believe it or not, we have found out that people are not able to find these card making kits with that name. People don't search for the name Stamps in the Mail. They search for card making kits. And several people have asked me, well, why do you put the word making in there? Because if we don't, people are going to end up finding playing cards. So card kits are actually playing cards, so card making kits. In my card making kits, you will get pre-cut supplies to make a total of 8 cards. So you'll make 2 of this, so I'll give you the glimmer paper, the embossed paper, the cardstock here. You'll also make 2 of this. There we go. We've got that stag and that doe again. I'm going to give you tips and tricks on how to use just portions of the greetings in that stamp set. Of course, the paper will come embossed. You'll get the layers. You'll get the cardstock. You'll make 2 of this one. Look at that beautiful filigree stamp. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Now you're going to need ink pads, and you're going to need some basic stamping supplies. And of course, this one uses the coordinating dies. This one's got a fancy fold. Look at this. So I'll have that all cut and scored and ready for you. And of course, the vellum is included. If you want the rhinestones, you're going to want to order those as well. And of course, you're going to need the Dashing Deer bundle, which is the stamp set I just used, and of course, the coordinating framelits to die cut those images. I also often get customers who want the kit but have a reindeer stamp set and framelits and then just want to substitute it. That's fine. So let me tell you how you can go about getting your card making kit. You can get your kit with any $50 product order. You can order anything you want. It must be $50 before shipping and tax. You must use the exclusive Stamps in the Mail host code, which is the card making kit host code. It's the only way I know you're entitled to the free pre-cut supplies, all right? The other thing is you're also going to receive an added bonus. Let me flip you guys around so I can actually see your comments. That makes it just a little bit more personal. You're going to receive a private invitation to my live event called Live with Lisa. During that event, it's in a private closed group on Facebook. I do several live demonstrations, kind of like what you saw tonight, but I do more. You're going to get 8 tutorials for absolutely free, and I do product prize patrol to give away prizes. Whether you're on Facebook or not, everyone is entered. And if you're not on Facebook, it's not a problem. So when you place your order, just let me know, and I'll be happy to send you the video recording and all the tutorials over email so that nobody, Megan is saying, don't forget to mention the no context. Thanks, Megan. I did have that written down. So it's really important that you let me know if you're not on Facebook so I can send you the tutorials and the video recording over email so that nobody is left out. The ordering period for this is very specific. It is ending on Saturday, which I believe is the 13th. It is. I have a promised mail date no later than October 20th. I usually get them out in the mail sooner, just depends on the number of kits. And I have everything mailed to you in a beautiful cardboard photo mailer, so everything is protected for you. We're going to leave a link down in the description of this video below, so that if you're here visiting, you'll be able to get the link to see the stamps in the mail kit, the card making kit, so that you can get a really good idea of what's included and what you need to complete your cards if you want them to look exactly like mine. Important point, and we have had a lot of this lately. So if you follow my blog, you may have seen this. I have had customers that have been placing orders, and they're checking a little box on the ordering screen when they set up their account that says, I do not want to be contacted. If you press that no contact button, you know what happens? It completely annihilates all your information from me. I don't know your name. I don't know where you live. I don't have an email address, and it makes it impossible for me to get a hold of you. I can't send you a thank you card, which is what all my customers get. I can't give you my online rewards. I can't give you your stamps in the mail, one or the other. Thank you, Megan, for the link for those that are live. I can't do anything. I can't even provide a thank you. So please don't check the no contact area. Everything that I do, your information is kept private. I don't sell it. I don't share it. So it's just a way for me to thank you and give you my rewards. Or of course, in this case, if you're using the card making kit exclusive house code, it's a way for me to make sure that you're getting it, because without your name, I don't know that it belongs to you. So that's really, really important. A lot of people have asked me, what is the card making kit for November? Because I know a lot of you are planning your holiday cards. Well, guess what? It's this one, the Winter Woods. Now, I know that the words are backwards. That's a YouTube live thing. There's not much I can do about that. But I want to tell you that these cards are not only simple, but they're elegant and they're beautiful. And I will be having this information coming out a little bit earlier than normal, because I want you to be able to have your kit in time to enjoy before and after the Thanksgiving holiday, so you can get all your cards done. I want you to be able to enjoy the holidays this year. And then in December, I have a very special kit for you that's going to include some packaging, some gift card holders, and some adorable cards. So there's lots of information coming up for my card making kits, and you can find that information all over on my blog. Now, I would love it if you would share tonight's video with your friends, especially your Stampin' friends. And if you have enjoyed it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, if you would, you please. And because that makes YouTube really happy, and of course me as well. And we'd love to hear from you. So please, by all means, leave your comments below. We do respond to all the questions that are asked here. If you haven't already, head over to my blog, and there you can subscribe to my free e-newsletter. There I provide a tutorial for you that is not shared on any of my other platforms. So sign up. It's completely free. And again, I don't sell or share your information, so you don't have to worry about that. Would love to have you be part of that e-newsletter. I want to see if there's anything else that I missed. Oh, how about when I'm going to be next with you live? I will be live again right here on YouTube on Monday, October 22nd. Where is the month gone? So Monday, October 22nd, 22 at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You're not going to want to miss that project that I have for you. It's really beautiful. I've been working on it diligently. I am glad that you guys joined me tonight for this masking and sponging card. I hope that you have enjoyed it and I've inspired you so that you could make your own. Again, thank you to Megan, who's been my virtual assistant tonight. I really appreciate your time. And again, I look forward to seeing you guys on the 22nd for another YouTube Live. Have a great night, everyone. Bye-bye.